All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about one of the weirdest, most confusing things that can happen between people, the silent exit. You know, when someone who was a big part of your life just isn't anymore, and you're the one left with all the questions.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. One day, you're talking, you're connecting, and the next day, they're just gone. It's this incredibly weird, disorienting feeling, isn't it? Because there was
No big fight, right? No screaming match that you can point to and say, okay, that's where it all went wrong.
There was no we need to talk moment, no tearful goodbye, not even a simple text message to tie things up. There was
just nothing. A complete void where a person used to be. And look, it can feel so cruel, so personal. But what if it isn't what we think it is? What if we look at it from a different angle? Through the lens we're going to use today, this clean cutoff isn't about trying to punish you. It's actually about them trying to protect themselves. It's about surviving the ending. So let's break down the psychology of the 6 signs most likely to pull this move. Okay, kicking off our countdown at number 6, we've got a sign that might actually shock you, because on the surface, they seem like the last people who would ever just go silent.
Yup, Pisces, the sign known for being gentle, empathetic, for basically being emotional sponges that absorb everything from everyone. So how in the world do they end up on this list? Well, believe it or not, that empathy is the exact reason why.
So here's the thing you have to understand. When a Pisces has been hurt over and over, they don't lash out. They just dissolve. For them, a big confrontation feels like ripping a wound open all over again. So instead, they just quietly, gently pull the tide of their presence away from you. That silence is the only way they know how to stop the bleeding. All right, coming in at number 5, we're shifting gears here to a sign that swaps out feelings for facts and emotions for pure, hard evidence. For a Virgo, going silent isn't some big emotional outburst. Nope, it's a verdict. See, long before you ever feel that silence, they have been running the entire situation through their mind, analyzing it from every possible angle, probably hundreds of times.
And this is where the huge misunderstanding happens. To you, it feels like it came out of nowhere. But in their reality, they've been holding a silent trial for weeks, maybe even months. They've been gathering the evidence, every little broken promise, every letdown, every inconsistency. The silence you're experiencing, that isn't the start of the problem. That's the sentence being carried out after the jury's already come back.
Okay, on to number 4. This next sign is basically the poster child for loyalty and stability, which makes their eventual silence feel all the more like a tectonic shift when it finally hits. A Taurus will give you so many chances. Their threshold for forgiveness is incredibly high. But, and this is a huge but, once you cross that final line, the gate slams shut. Forever. Their ability to recover that relationship drops to pretty much zero.
And this is what is so wild about how Taurus operates. We think that their coldness is the beginning of them getting over it. It's not. For a Taurus, the grieving process, the mourning, the sadness, all of that happened in private while they were probably still talking to you. The silence isn't the wound, it's the scar that's left after it's already healed over. At number 3, we've got a sign with this really unique, almost surgical ability to just detach emotionally when they decide it's time. An Aquarius cutoff is so fascinating because it's usually not about anger or hate at all. It's about reclassification. They aren't deleting you from their life, they're just moving your file to a different cabinet. You see, it's a logical process for them. You start out in the inner circle with full emotional access, then a pattern of your behavior triggers a rational review, and finally, your access privileges are revoked. You're moved to the neutral contact file. All that warmth is just gone, replaced by this polite, detached indifference that is basically impossible to fight with. We are getting so close to the top spot. Coming in at number 2 is a sign that sees everything in life, including their relationships, as part of a much bigger long-term strategy. Capricorns are all about being practical, disciplined, and strategic. They do not make impulsive moves, especially when it comes to the people they choose to invest their valuable time and energy in. And that right there is the key to understanding them: return on investment. Capricorns give so much to their people: loyalty, support, a solid foundation. But when they do the math and realize the investment is no longer paying off, that you've actually become a liability, they don't throw a fit, they just restructure. They cut you from the budget. It's a clean, surgical, and permanent
business decision. And here we are at number 1. Now, this is probably the sign you were expecting to see here all along. But the reason they do it, oh, that's way deeper and way more complex than most people ever realize.
Of course, it's Scorpio. But let's push past the stereotypes of revenge and holding grudges for a minute. The psychology here isn't just about ending things with you. It's about them ending a version of themselves.
Think about how powerful that is. For a Scorpio, the cutoff is an act of total transformation. It's like a death and a rebirth. They aren't just getting rid of you, they are shedding the skin of the person they were when they were with you. It's like they're burning down that entire chapter of their life so a brand new one can start to grow.
So when you look at all of them, from the soft Pisces to the intense Scorpio, what's the one thing they all have in common? It's that the silent exit was never, ever a sudden decision. It was the absolute final step in a long, quiet, internal process. The silence that you experience is just the period at the end of a sentence they finished writing a long, long time ago. And that kind of leaves us with this final thought to chew on. If you're on the receiving end of that silence, maybe the answer you're looking for isn't in one specific moment you missed. Maybe the real clarity comes when you finally understand the pattern that they just couldn't live with anymore. Now, that doesn't make it hurt any less, but it might just change the whole question.